Okay, we're
With
going.
that. Somebody say something.
Yay!
Hey!
Happy New Year!
Loud noises!
All right, that's the show.
That's it.
Thanks, bye.
See you next year.
Everybody.
Good evening, all. Welcome to the Roundtable Hangout from the VV Vortex page. Hope everybody's had a good New Year. Tonight's panel, we've actually got 6 normal avatars on here. We've even got Liam for a change. Hello, Liam.
What's happening?
We've got Price is Right.
Wrong.
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 Wrong. Oh, Price is wrong, should I say? And we've also got Harry.
Hey.
We've also got Vlad.
Happy New Year, everybody.
And we've also got Extreme.
Hey.
Also got Toxic.
How we going?
X1, shall we call him, Bobby?
Hello.
We've got also got Emmett.
Hola.
And we've also got John.
Hello.
And tonight's topics is open panel, so we can talk about what we want. So has anybody got something to talk about?
The fat.
Let's talk politics.
Really?
Just kidding.
Let me get this one done right off the top. I had to use customer service over the weekend, and they actually came in, and I got a response on Saturday. It was courteous. It was polite. It fixed my problem. Way to go, Ivy at customer service. Good job. Thank you.
What was the problem?
I lost a token.
No, you had to clear his cache.
Yeah, exactly. No, I lost a token, and she came in, she checked my record, said, yep, I saw where it went. It shouldn't have gone away, so I fixed it.
Excellent.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm accused of being the negative one. Let me start off with a positive. Customer service did right by me.
Very nice.
It's first time for everything.
Yep. It wasn't the first time. I was surprised they were in on Saturday.
Okay. Did anybody ever go at the fat this time around?
I didn't. Didn't touch it.
I did 3 battles. Nothing impressive.
Apparently there were problems with it again.
Shocker.
I played it for a little bit. I was only testing the fleet before I decided to coin it.
If you did it, the subs were king this time because they didn't have the Frosty in it.
They did have the frost in it?
I had a Frosty in mine.
You
Or
sure?
I started with a Frosty. I ended up changing it to an Aegis, but I started with a Frosty.
I had a Frosty, 3 heavy cruisers, and I used an Aegis as well.
I've seen a lot of complaints about the subs being king, that's all, because they used the Tiger Sharks and the Styx Torpedo. And
That's all I used.
And it just outranged everything.
I just rushed them. As Harry would say, I bull rushed.
Good man. Good man.
So, Harry, you didn't do it then? You normally do it.
No. For the first time since the FAT came out, I did not even launch a fleet.
Okay. Anybody else?
I did come close to putting a boat in a slot in the first.
I did it. I was number 1.
I almost did it once. I forgot all about it.
Say again, Liam.
I did it. I was number 1 in my group.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good. Really good.
Okay.
I did it. I finished 18th.
Nice.
Just used uranium, never used a spent coin.
So I wonder if there were any problems with empty brackets, or not empty brackets, but not full brackets, and people finishing in the top of their leaderboards and not winning the top prize. I wonder if there was any of that still.
In my bracket, there was only 10 players.
Wow.
Did you manage to finish in the top 10, or?
Yep.
Oh.
So they did reverse it, so that even though there were only 10 in your bracket, you still got a prize?
They filled it from the top up instead of from the bottom, from the top down instead of from the bottom up. It sounds like, so that's cool.
That is good. And I thought I heard somebody say, I apologize, I don't know who said this, but I heard somebody say they played it and they only used uranium, didn't spend a single coin. Who was that?
That was me, John.
John, Did you use uranium repair?
No, I used the uranium just to open the 5 fleets.
Okay, and then rotated them and repaired them.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
That's a good thing if you've got the uranium, but I don't have enough, and I'm not the best fleet builder, so I ended up getting raffle stomped most of the fights.
How much uranium does it cost to open up all 5?
I think it's 10, 15, 20, and then 30, I think it was, something like that.
10, 15, so it's 25 plus 20.
You can have 5 fleets, can't you?
So it's 75,000 uranium.
Something like that, yeah. The first one's free, obviously, but the next 4 you pay for.
It's
But then
not
again,
too bad.
yeah, it's not too bad, and with the fact that it was just minor stuff being offered, even if they made $100 off the event, that was a free $100. It's not like they extended the power creep, put anything new into the waters or anything like that. So, like I said last time, if it makes them money, go for it.
You know, I got to ask a question. I wonder if anybody on here actually thinks that not putting any prizes, game-changing prizes, is that what makes the game fun? I mean, for the Forsaken Arena tournament, is that what makes it fun? I know Kixeye seems to think that's what makes it fun, is by not putting any decent prizes in.
Nope.
It's not so much a decent prize pool, it's the fact that there's nothing in there that changes the balance of the game, and there's nothing in there that is a has to grab. So it's
no pressure. No pressure to do it.
Yeah, exactly. No pressure prize pool.
I wouldn't call it fun either, because obviously you're still having to wait around for the repairs of the fleet unless you coin. I mean, they should have the uranium insurance should be back, then it would be fun again.
Yeah, you know, I've been telling them that too, but they seem to. I don't know. And maybe I'm just coming off as the negative Nancy on here, but you know, it just seems to me that it's like, you know, if it's their opinion, then it's valid, and if it's contrary to their opinion, then it's not worthy of attention. You know what I mean? So it just seems like that's the case a lot of times with them, and because I've been telling them that for months. I'm like I said. Putting in crap prizes doesn't make it fun. It just means there's no pressure.
I think it's just a subjective term to describe it at this point.
Yeah, it's all subjective, because I'll side with them on this one. Not putting in game-changing prizes, keeping it at uranium to open up fleets, and still having to coin is a revenue generator for those who have extra money to burn. So
the thing is that there's that addictive personality, which is what a lot of people in this game have got. You know, this is a very addictive game, and you know, for many players, whether they want to or not, they want to collect everything. They want to win everything, even if it's just a paint job for a hole. There's a lot of players that will still give their all to collect that, you know, and they'll still pay money to collect that. You know.
Yeah, but like we talked about last week, that's one of the 4 archetypes within an MMO community, and it's not so much an addictive personality, because addictions and games haven't been correlated. Studies have shown there's.
I think we should just agree to disagree.
Well,
all right. That way, we're not going to end up calling each other any names on here. But because I definitely don't agree with any of that you just said. I'm just going to say that.
Well, I mean, all I mean is that, you know, the Kickstarter keep pushing out these FATs. We were told that there weren't going to be any more FATs, and then they give us an FAT for Halloween, an FAT for Christmas. You know, and why aren't these FATs free, completely free to play?
And why aren't they going away?
You know, exactly. But if they are going to be here, why are they not just free? Why is it they not just say, you know what, guys, it's Christmas. There's some paint jobs on offer. Get out there and have some fun. You know, it's not going to cost you anything. Go and have a good, you know, play. Test your skills, test your knowledge, and just have a good time with it. Why does there have to be a monetization? Why does there have to be a value added to it?
Because it's so easy.
We need value in the game, and that's what we're lacking in this game right now is value, and that's why people are leaving in droves, is because they're not getting the value. People like, I mean, myself, I can only really just speak for myself as far as, you know, how I feel, but you know, as far as the fat goes, I used to love doing the Forsaken Arena tournament. I loved it. I thought it was awesome, and I thought the toy box idea was an exceptional idea. But then they turned around and completely ruined it by taking out the uranium repair insurance. Now they could have, you know, maybe gave me a reason to coin to go out and win uranium. You know what I mean? So that could continue. But instead, They made it so you had to coin repairs.
They
Therefore, taking it away from players like myself and removing value from the game.
They could have, if they were unhappy at it. I mean, uranium isn't free to get, or for certain players it's not. They could have just quite easily doubled the cost of the uranium repair, or even trebled it. I know that would have been that would have caused an uproar too, but it still would have been there.
Well, I mean, when you're developing the systems within the games, they should be using what most of us use with a spreadsheet, where they fine-tune the cost to benefit ratio and balance it out. But taking away the uranium provided them, as a company, which, no offense, they're a company, they need to make money, provided them a revenue source that was only there for players who wanted it. Nobody else had to bother with it. Now, this is the recent FATs, not the middle ones, which were really crappy because they released the Aegis and everything else in there. But at the end of the day, they offer you something, and if you want a coin, good. But if you don't participate.
Yeah, you sound like Kickstarter.
That's all fair. That's all fair enough. But if you release hulls that are game changing, that's all fair enough too. But don't let it come into the proper game. Keep those hulls in the FAT.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You can have an Aegis and you can have whatever nuclear ship you want, but don't bring it into the BP game. Keep it in the FAT only.
Yeah, and I got to say, when you look at all of those freaking drac carriers, we know Kickstarter's making money. We know they are making money. I mean, maybe not as much as they used to, but any decreases in income on their part is 100% their fault and earned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree, but
and if they continue to refuse putting a value into the game, then I'm just saying, it's like they had an opportunity to put value into the game and they passed. You know what I mean? They had an opportunity to make players happy, and they didn't feel like doing it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they did not story. Sorry, go on.
Hasn't that been the story for the past 6 months or a year? If they have an opportunity to make the players happy in general, they pass on it. Exclude the VXP and the changes in weight, and to a certain extent the changes in repair time, which we've all said variously that just aren't enough. What really have they done to add value for us?
Well, I think the plan is to add a little bit of value at a time to try to find a balance or an equilibrium between the revenue stream versus the value that we see in the game. Try to find where they're going to be able to make the most money versus where we're going to be able to have an acceptable amount of fun to continue playing the game.
They can add value and increase revenue at the same time. They can make the game more fun. If it was more fun, people would be more willing to spend on it.
And at the very least, quit leaving.
Yeah.
Well, there is that.
Mm-hmm.
I know there are people spending. I keep falling further and further back on the lifetime XP board. 3 months ago I was like 1598, and now I'm down in the 1700s. So clearly somebody's outcoining me by a pretty significant margin.
No, that doesn't mean jack shit, because that's a VXP. There's players in this game that used to be #1 in the world by going out and collecting salvages all day long, and that's got nothing to do with money.
Yeah.
Just swapping warehouses. They used to do it just swapping warehouses.
Yeah, it's got nothing to do with money at all. I mean, there's a lot of players that find the VXP so obsessive that they will just sit and collect res all day and dump res and collect res and dump res, and they think for some reason that climbing that board makes them good. Yeah. So that's got nothing. You can't tell finances by that, unfortunately.
Not only that, I mean, player level has been a joke since the beginning. It's not a balanced system in any way, shape, or form. So. Yeah. Just soaking up cargo, dropping your warehouses, soaking it up. It's a broken system.
And then a level 50 can come along, coin the hole that's just come out in the raid, and level every base in the game for 2 weeks. So it's just same old, same old.
Speaking of leveling bases, how's everybody feeling about the new R&D component?
Not doing it.
Haven't started it. I don't even keep a government base anymore. If you want in, the entrance is about 3 o'clock.
I don't intend on doing it as well. Not at them uranium prices. It's a joke.
Man, I haven't started it either.
I know all of my warehouses are all my warehouses are fully upgraded. I can hold quite a bit of uranium. I did one research and then I couldn't afford my next retrofit.
There you go.
I think
the uranium, the Armadas, when they first started, we had plenty of 60s around, and you could sort of get them, whenever you needed them. Just had to crack a few cargoes, the fleets would pop out, and you get your uranium. But now there's hardly any 60s around. They're all 75s, and it costs you a whole heap of coin to get a little uranium. So I've done the first two, and then the third one I couldn't even read what it said. I mean, they could have just written down, attack a Drac base, but they had to do it in some stupid way that you couldn't understand it, so I've stopped doing it too.
Apparently, Kixeye have actually explained to us wrong how to do this sector bar thing. People have found out you've got to hit the cargoes now. Even when it goes to yellow, you still got to hit the cargoes to get it into the orange. And when it's in orange, then you go out and hit the Armadas.
That's not what I understood at all. Because it actually on the cargoes, once you get it into yellow, it actually says it's not a good target anymore.
Right.
It'll say that right on the tag. When you mouse over it.
Yeah. Graphical error.
Yeah.
But they did. That is something to bring up. Kixeye did recently drop something to try to boost the sector bar with the new level 100 elites. Has anybody tested those out?
They work really freaking good.
Yeah.
I've not hit one personally, but I have read a couple of reviews, seen them, and essentially they're just miniature 75s. The only difference is they got battleships instead of dreadnoughts. So if you got the fleets and the coin to...
No, they're basically mini 75s. I'm sorry, I cut you off, and I thought you meant 75 elites. They're nothing like 75 elites.
No,
they're
the
almost
Armadas.
exactly like 75 armadas.
No.
That's correct. I'm sorry for
Armadas.
interrupting. Go ahead.
Yeah, so if you got the fleet and the coin to hit them, good for you. So they're a pain in the ass to hit, but to Kixeye's credit, they do their job in getting that bar up quickly.
Yeah,
but it ain't cheap.
Well, yet again, there's a complicated solution and a simple solution, and instead of going for the simple solution, Kixeye decides they have to go for the complicated one.
They didn't address the real problem though, right? Because the real problem was getting the sector bar to orange, the sector threat bar to orange, not yellow. So they came up with a solution for the wrong problem. Well, a non-existent problem is what they did.
But isn't this whole sector bar thing meant to be a solution to a problem already?
Yes.
Now we're talking about solutions for problems within the solution to a problem.
Yep.
Right, and that's why I brought up. That's exactly why I brought up R&D, because that was their solution, a baby step solution to repair times, build times, and a variety of other benefits in the game, map speed, things like that, critical hits. Those are things that you could earn through the R&D process. And what I've heard or gleaned from the panel so far is that nobody's doing it. So we're not realizing those benefits.
Well, the benefits do. I've had a look at them. They seem very small.
Exactly.
They seem very small. Now I know sometimes in the game very small percentages make a huge bit of difference, and but how often has Kixeye math been wrong? And am I really going to spend 100k uranium for 2%?
Taking the group as a whole, I mean, we haven't heard a whole lot of people say they've done it other than a couple and up to level 3, and yet when I go into my sector, everybody's working on the research. So again, this is a sample size.
And everybody that's working on the research is in the bubble.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah,
well, not everybody.
Well, almost. This whole R&D thing was where be careful for what you wish, you'll get it. They decided, well, they keep saying that the advanced players want to research more stuff. So here, we'll set this up so all it'll do is give an incentive for, instead of just hitting on Monday, now they're going to hit anytime somebody's outside of a bubble. And if you're under level 100, you're going to get creamed at every opportunity.
But the thing is, what the community asked for was more stuff to research within their labs, like their weapons labs and their whole labs. We asked for more tech to become available as opposed to having to win it in the weeklies. What we didn't ask for was something new entirely.
You're absolutely right, Liam, and that's something that we mentioned when you were here. Sorry.
You know, one thing I'll say about this research, though, is there is a light at the end of this tunnel, and I only say that because I know there's like 15 levels of research, right? And once it's done, it's done. You know.
But is it going to stay at 15 levels price? Come on.
No,
Well,
it's already,
it even says at the bottom of the scroll bar that there will be more levels maybe forthcoming.
yeah, it says level 16 and beyond coming sometime in coming soon, 2016.
Soon, like December.
Track basis soon. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say this. The R&D was trying to give us something new to do in the sense that I had a thought of trying to articulate it, completely lost it.
Well, I will say it
Never mind, come
has
back to me later.
increased base hitting.
Yes, as increased. I guess it was designed to sit there and solve two problems, and instead it just created one massive one. From what I've gathered, it was designed. We asked for more research, we got more research, and it was supposed to address the fact that smaller players weren't able to keep up with the bigger players. And it was supposed to address that. Instead, just made it worse for them because now they're getting farmed like crazy beyond the whole alliance point thing.
That's exactly where I was going when I brought up R&D. What they've done is they've taken a solution that the mid-level low coiners needed to get some additional benefits, get some reduced repair times because they're actually sitting there waiting on their fleets to repair, reduced build times because they're sitting there waiting on their fleets to build.
You say that like it's so foreign.
No, it's not foreign. That was the point by bringing it up, was to get somebody to throw that out.
But I mean, still at the same time, we're talking about a decrease in build time of 3% and an increase of decrease of repair time by 3%. Such minor numbers that anybody who looks at that and says, "There's your solution to your build and repair times," has got to be smoking something good.
Yeah, I mean, because if you're looking at, let's look at a 20-day ship build, which is probably a small ship build in this game now. What 5% would be 1 day. Unnoticeable.
And that's not even, we're not even getting a 5%, we're getting a 3%.
The thing is, as usual with Kickstarter, it just seems that we're getting more content instead of correcting the content we already have, and that's just a common trend, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I mean,
but it's creating revenue for them, because if you put it in your research lab, it's only the player that researches it that can coin it. But if you put it on the map, then you can get people that hit you. So there's two people coining. One coining the fleet he hit you with, and the other one's coining the repair on the guard or whatever it is that they need to coin to hit back. So it's just revenue. That's all they want. They're just greedy. In my eyes.
I look at this, and Kickstarter just basically took the lazy way out to fix two problems instead of addressing them properly, and happened to make some coin on the side.
Yeah. This is definitely not a solution to any problem. It's just more problems compounded. Has anybody tried to speed up the research with the tokens, or is that not allowed?
It's not an option.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
It's a solution to get the in-game tech and the coin to spare, and even then it's debatable.
The other thing that annoyed me was the fact about the Aegis. I mean, I've already got an Aegis, but all the people who hadn't, and took the prize in the raid, and then lo and behold, straight after raid, you can win an Aegis doing this research.
Yeah, thing is, like I'm one of the people who sat there and won the Aegis during the raid. I saw that and I thought, great, if I happen to get hammered enough to sit there and complete this at some point in the future, I get 2 Aegis. But at this point in time,
you're going to have to spend like 750,000 uranium to get that Aegis blueprint now.
Yeah.
Well, then I better pick a weekend where I don't plan on doing anything.
A weekend? A month.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to take you a while, because each one is going to be at least a week, potentially up to 2 weeks. As I don't know for sure, but I would imagine the last 50 shards is probably going to be super duper expensive.
Yeah,
time and uranium.
Yeah, but I mean, for those who didn't grab the Aegis during the raid and wanted it, if Kickstarter is trying to entice them to sit there and do the R&D just to get the Aegis, then I'd say it's a bit of a failed attempt, because it's still not worth it.
Yeah, no.
I would say the Aegis was not a valid prize for it. I think not good enough for what's required. I thought it should have been something better.
It almost feels like an afterthought at this point. It just we gotta entice this a little bit more. So what do? Well, let's spread out a shard build and put it in there. Something nice. Well, everybody wants Aegis. Well, then let's make it the Aegis. It seems like an afterthought.
Maybe a Harlock Aegis would have.
No, they could have put that new one in that they put in the Jack Uranium base, that Gamma Behemoth. That'd have been a nice one.
Mm.
It'd be easier to get it that way.
Mm.
Yeah.
Probably cheaper too, actually.
A lot cheaper.
I still haven't got a Nemesis, so I don't know even point even looking at this bloody Gamma Behemoth fucking.
Nemesis is so last year.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, I always said by the time I get it, it'll be obsolete, but I still ain't even getting it when it's obsolete.
That's because you don't play.
Well, that's true.
I got one, never built it.
Well, that's just rubbing salt in, isn't it?
It's like the whole
He's smarter than I am. Smarter than I am if you never built it. I actually built mine because somebody promised to buy it for me, pay for it, and they're like, well, I'll get paid on Friday, so I went ahead and coined it thinking they're going to reimburse me. Instead, they got, oh, you took care of it already? All right.
Your mic's acting up.
Your mic price.
I can hear. We can hear you, Price, but it's sounding muffled again.
Yeah. I think so.
Muffly?
Sounds
Is
like
it muffly?
Muffly. That's the word of the day.
No, I was just saying that, the guy who said he was going to buy it for me, I thought he would have reimbursed me after I went and paid for it myself, and he didn't, so I pretty much got stuck with the bill. He just kind of said, okay, you took care of it, no problem.
Oops.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll pay for you to refit blades onto it.
Yeah, no, not this guy.
Win the Hellstorm, sure you'll pay for that.
I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to hold my breath. So we probably ought to move on. But I guess, so what else? The VXP weekend. How many people did the VXP weekend? And how successful was everybody? I'm curious.
Oh, I definitely took advantage of that again. Carriers. A lot of my countermeasure boats, I refitted with a couple of weapons and took them out and got those ranked up, which has made a huge difference for the countermeasure functionality that they have. So that was probably, I mean, I did my carrier fleet, so that was a nice thing. But I think the countermeasure boats was probably the biggest benefit that I got from the weekend.
When was the weekend? Was it last weekend?
26 it started, I think, didn't it?
Boxing Day. Everyone was playing BP on Boxing Day. Come on.
It was supposed to start Boxing Day, but it actually started on the 24th. They gave us an extra 36 hours at it.
Yeah, it was over Christmas.
Eve. Christmas Eve. You were playing BP on Christmas Eve.
I actually thought that was a great idea, just because I'm sure there are some of us who don't have families or don't have the ability or a lot to do over the holidays. So it gave those people something to do, and it was long enough that even the people that did have family activities could still participate some. So I thought that was a smart move on their part.
Yeah, all joking aside, that is good. I was only messing, but I didn't have a chance to play any of it, unfortunately. I didn't even know there was one. So
What, you didn't play BP over Christmas?
Nah. I don't play BP when it's not Christmas. So.
I redlined my dock, so everything was red for a week.
It was 3 months ago that we had the first VXP weekend, and at that time I had 5 skulled hulls, and now I have over 100.
Nice.
Yeah.
I really, at this point, I assuming they have them every month, it's actually kind of solved the problem, because now everybody has access to the legendary fleets, as opposed to just those people who can spend 24/7 ranking, or who are willing to spend ridiculous amounts of money to buy the rank. There's another positive for the game is the VXP weekend. The hulls are more fun to play when they're legendary.
Yeah,
there's a shocker.
When they're in that glitched 400% reload that's not meant to be.
There is that.
I had my somebody in the chat said they did their Tiger Sharks. Actually, I had 4 Tiger Shark hulls built, and any of them had on them was a single Cobra scattergun, and I got them all the way from 0 to legendary. It was awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, with one scattergun.
I'm working on a deluge fleet to do the 75s, and I coined basic hulls for 4 Tiger Sharks, and they had engine and a couple of torpedoes on them, and I got them ranked in under an hour.
Well, I managed
using salties.
I managed to get my Harlock Atlas carriers to 2 stars. And now they are just wrecking things, I'm telling you.
2-star Atlases or Harlocks are probably wrecking your wallet.
Yeah.
Tell you what, those UAVs, whew, when I got 6 on there, Jesus.
Yeah, I did kind of redline my dock as well. I pretty much went down my anything I could think of. I didn't do like DNXs, but I did like Hell Strikes and just about anything else I had. Even Seawolves. I didn't get my Seawolves quite the legendary just yet, but just anything that I could throw at those reverse alt platforms, I was doing it. And I got a lot of boats. I got a few boats ranked. I even got my Harlock Aegis, which was brand new. I just took it right out of the shipyard. I coined it out and got it up to legendary. So that was pretty awesome too.
I got a fleet of gumbos ranked up.
I think I've got 1 legendary hull, and that's a Corvette. I just couldn't sit there and do it all the time. I don't have salty dogs, so.
Getting ready to run those radar runners extreme.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I know you've seen that. There's like one of the siege cannons during that last rebalance. I think went down to like 15 tons. Is that what you're putting on there?
Yeah, you can put a siege cannon on a gunboat now with armor. Put a radar runner on there with plus 3,000% damage. I have a little fun with that.
I know I mentioned before on the show that I was working on some spreadsheets for all of the weapons, and I come across that one siege cannon, and I couldn't believe it was 15 tons. I'm like, didn't it used to be like 1,000 or 2,000 or something like that? But it was like 15 tons.
And the fun with that gunboat and the radar runners gets even better because you can insta repair them on the map. You don't even have to take them home.
Exactly. And it's not just one siege cannon. I believe you can put any one of them on, actually.
All right, nice.
Yeah, the L, the S, the Z, and I forget what the...
You want to put the S on. That's only 20 minutes to put on.
Yeah, the normal ones are definitely the cheaper one, but the Z one, it's longer, but you can have a little more fun with it, because it's got the
What about the
regen splash.
Earthshaker?
I don't have that. Otherwise, I'd try it. That's how bored I get. I'm playing with gunboats.
I'm refitting maulers, so I'm with you.
Tell you what, this game's really progressed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Progressed
progressed and regressed.
Yeah.
We're all talking about siege cannon gunboats.
How
Hey, you can actually put the nuclear accelerator as the engine, and it also comes with the barrel system on those gunboats.
Gunboats don't have a special slot. That'd have to be a long ship or longboat.
Oh, that's right.
Corvette.
Yeah, but it's not a bad idea though. You can still insta repair those.
So has anybody got any other topics to talk about that has brought with them?
The new drag bases. I've so far seen one video where a guy actually got into them. Has any of you guys seen anybody or know of anyone else who's done it?
No, just that one.
Something
Just the
significant
one
out of
video
it?
the guy. No, just the one video the guy used Neptunes. I think it was Neptunes.
Yeah, I think Neptunes. I've seen Neptunes. If we understand, Neptunes with blades are the most successful because they have the high siege deflection, and I think if you put like an Aegis in there with the countermeasures, because I guess there's mortars in there that can give you a hard time. So if you have an Aegis with the Gale anti-morts, then those fleets tend to do pretty well.
Mm.
But yeah, it just seems like it is a huge expense though for the rewards that you get. I mean, especially if you got to get 10 of those shards, whatever, for that behemoth.
Is that what you got to get? 10
Isn't it 10 shards?
I don't know.
For the behemoth?
I thought it was just a drop, like the.
No, it's not a drop. You get shards, yeah.
It's in parts. I just don't know how many. That's all. Yeah.
Somebody sent me a picture earlier today. Let me look at it real quick. I'm gonna look at the picture because.
I thought it was still
That seems to
bases. Sorry, go ahead,
that
Toxic.
seems to be the new Kick's way to go. We don't give you a full blueprint or a full ship. We sell it to you in bits.
Yep.
Mm.
And that seems to be the new tech distribution method, or at least for hulls.
It'll be weapons soon.
Yeah.
It was a nice feature when it was part of the blueprints, part of the salvage system. You just go get blueprints out of the salvages. Didn't cost you a lot, took some time, but it was simple to do.
In about a year's time, we'll all be sat there saying, "Back in my day, we just used to win the blueprint."
Aegis, how old is the Aegis now? Isn't an Aegis like 6 months old? It was a fat prize.
Give or take.
Yeah, so it's about 6 months old fat prize, and there's still 250 shards.
Wow.
Well, it's 5 achievements because they're handing out the shards at 50 apiece. But we really haven't discussed what a bad idea this whole shard thing is. We need to look at it the same way we did those limited blueprints.
Right.
This is something that Kix is cooking up, trying to see how much traction it'll get. It's a bad idea, especially when you're counting them at 1 apiece.
I know those ghost crawler shards. Yeah.
250. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Those ghost crawler shards are 250, and I know people that in 2 months have actually collected 250 shards to get the ghost crawler. And I mean, it's funny that they hit that many drag bases, or the
Vanguards.
Vanguards. It's funny that they've hit that many Vanguards, that they've managed to collect that many shards and not win, but they end up cashing in the shards.
Wow.
I mean, that's a huge expense. So I mean, kudos on them on that part, but I think they're taking it too far.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and the limited blueprints is what I was thinking of when they brought out shards to begin with. Everybody went absolutely up in arms about the blueprints and the shards. I was kind of surprised that everybody didn't go bonkers about the shards as well. I did, but I don't think everybody else did.
I don't think anybody was. I don't think it did anything the last time everybody went up in arms over the limited blueprint, so I don't think anybody felt that it was going to do them any good. It's one of those wastes of breath trying to have this conversation with Kickside. The shards is a dumbass idea from the beginning.
People are crying out for the limited blueprints and raids now to get the sort of the gales and all that.
Yeah.
Well, the reason they're crying out for it is because it's technology that they should have brought out with regular blueprints to begin with. Everybody fussed because they weren't available in the last raid. Well, the reason that they fussed is because they should have just been able to earn them once and be done with it to begin with.
Yep,
if they're going to put something like that into the game, which I'm hedging my bets on it to begin with, but if you're going to put something like that in the game, it needs to be much more readily available.
I think that's the way the game's going. It's going to be like that. You know, the future of the game is going to be limited blueprints. It's going to be pick one weapon. You know, collect 5 weapons, collect 5 specials, collect 5 armors, and it's just the way the game's going, which is quite depressing to think of, really. But it's just the way it's going to be, I think.
So basically, they're heading it down the coiners route again.
Yeah. Again, the whole blueprint idea wasn't a bad one when all you had to do was hit salvages.
Yeah.
That's all I had to do.
Now you have to sit there and get into a big bar high enough.
The one benefit
you got to hit a certain target during a once a month. Sorry, what were you saying?
I miss the raids where there was 5 tiers. There was tier 1 to 5, and there was 2 prizes in each tier, and you could pick one. Now it didn't really affect the balance of the game, but at least it added in some variety. You know, not everyone had everything the same all the time. You know, and then like maybe a raid down the line, they would bring it back something old that people didn't have and put that in tier 1 to 3, and the new stuff in tier 1 to 3, and you would pick one or the other. You wouldn't get everything, you know. But that was a good way to do it.
Basically, the system of depreciating the prizes hasn't taken effect very well yet. I mean, we saw a little bit of it with the Forsaken mission before this one, where they dropped some elite tier prizes down to tier 4, which was great. That's a good idea. They need to start depreciating some of these items. But going back to the 5-tier raids, those were great except for the development time for 50 individual targets. I mean, granted, that's not a good excuse for the developers. I mean, they should be working for their money, but at the same time.
But I don't even mean the 50 individual targets. You know, you're talking about the ones where you'd have to hit 1 to 10 to collect the first prize, and then 10.
Right.
Before that, I'm talking about even before that. I'm going back to Base Invaders, which was a series of raids after Revenge Raid. They did Base Invaders 1 to 6, and each one was a tech tree. There was tier 1 to 5.
Yeah.
certain amount of points you hit tier 1, certain amount of points you hit tier 2, all the way up, and you would literally go from 1 to 5, and then pick one prize in each one, and number 5 would be the hull, and that would be it. There would be nothing else, you know?
But that was, if I'm not mistaken, because I wasn't playing during that time, or I wasn't playing raids at that time. If I'm not mistaken, that was mainly player versus player raids.
It was targets on the maps. It was.
So they were targets on the map.
Yeah.
It was targets on the map.
Okay.
It wasn't 1 to 50. That come in much later. I think that come in. I can't remember the name of the raids. If that was like the Greta ones, the Storm Falls or something. I don't know.
That was the Mercuries and the Stingrays, because that's when I got my first major prize, was the Stingray and the Mercury.
Mm-hmm.
But back then they also had the Mastery version when I started, so you could end up getting.
That was the ones where the ships just flooded out from the Drake bases, didn't they? And then they just sort of kind of sat on. Yeah, that's the one. I know the ones. Yeah. But you actually had to hit like 1 to 50.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And you could double them up to get the Mastery prize. Those were fun. Hell for the developers to do, but they were fun.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. So, anybody got anything else? X1, you've not said anything yet. You got anything to say?
No, just sitting here listening and trying to figure out. I would like to, a little bit more on the raids. I mean, I don't have a problem with the raids the way they are and the prize setup. The only problem I have is, it's unlimited blueprints. It's just there's too many of them.
Too many unlimited blueprints?
Yeah, there's just too many. I don't go after the unlimited blueprints. I think it's just like the shards. It's too much for the game.
You mean limited?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry, limited.
No, that's okay. I wanted to clarify that, but yeah, I agree with you, and I think it's a good thing that they didn't do it this last raid, I don't believe, but before that, because I'm pretty sure it's because of the massive outcry over the limited blueprints that they've made them available in 3 raids in a row. They made them available. Mm-hmm. I think that gave everybody who wanted them an opportunity to cash them in, and I didn't think that the cost of them was too unrealistic. So they've already been introduced into the game. They can't really fix them or change them, not without another huge outcry. So just offering them a lot more has made everybody's concern about them and problem with them kind of fade away. If they continue to offer without introducing any more, if they continue to offer them, then I think we'll be okay.
The most useful of the bunch is also the one that, unless you grabbed it when it first came out, you can only have 5 of them, and that's the hydraulic resistor. It was only available in 1 raid, and it was a claim max of 5.
Yep.
Either make that stop it from being a limited blueprint and make it unlimited, or continue to offer it.
Right, and that's what I expect them to do. I expect them to continue to offer, if not all of them, a subset of the limited blueprints in each raid. That's what I would assume that they're going to do. That's what they've already set the precedent that they're going to do.
There wasn't any in the last raid.
It wasn't offered in the last raid, plus that doesn't take into account the whole depreciation of the value. I mean, the hydraulic resistors, the engine with concussive resistance, yeah, that's still a high-tier item. It's the only one that offers concussive resistance, and it's got Speed System 5 in it. Maybe not throw that one out. Keep that as a high-tier one. But the rest of these, the Gales and the Scatterguns, you have track cases just sitting there with the same blueprints that have been there since the beginning. Why aren't they in there yet?
I think that the Cobra Scattergun's also one that still has a lot of high-tier type value. Admittedly, the Gales and the other ones not so much. But the Cobra Scattergun, you really can't build unless you were somebody who got a lot of Scatterguns from Vanguards. You really can't build a Tiger Shark Cobra fleet for lack of weapons.
You know, but I mean, that's still one hull or a couple of hulls for one set of weapons. I don't have Cobra Scatterguns. I'm never going to get them. I also don't have Tiger Sharks, so I'm never going to use them. Well, I say never in relative to the situation, but you get what I'm saying.
You have a guest behind you there.
That would be my mother. She's smacking me in the back of the chair. Be nice. We're on live.
And the reason.
Hello, Mom.
Hey,
Hey, Mom.
It's way past your bedtime.
Yeah.
Bite me.
I wanted to throw in. I wanted to throw in one more quick comment. The reason they were not offered in the last raid is the reason that just about no other tech besides hulls was offered in the last raid, and that's because it was the December raid, which was a hull raid.
Yeah, but even being a hull, that good point. But I'm still thinking that of all the blueprints that they've offered, the limited style, the one that takes the cake is probably going to be your engine, your hydraulic whatever. Cobra scatterguns would fall a really close second. But that's still, throw those into the DRAC bases. How many people are still hitting DRAC bases? Nobody, really.
Going back to what I said initially about the limited blueprints, any place that they make them available is going to make them less of an issue for the player base complaining about them being limited. And that's it.
Yeah.
There's something that I wanted to talk about, and now we're talking about the next raid.
Your mic.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay, so Price started while you were fixing your mic, you were talking about the upcoming raid. Does anybody remember the name of it?
Have a revenge raid. They're calling it 3, but 3 does not come after it's 6, right?
6.
And then it is 7 that comes after that.
Still on
So
the number.
I don't. Common Core, man.
Are we still not allowed to call out other people on here? Because I could think of a few names of who's doing the math over there.
Oh, yeah.
One in particular.
Yeah.
I can think of someone in particular right now who's probably doing their math.
Well, I was just curious because as I understand, they're not putting tokens. They're not going to have a token store the next raid.
You're joking again?
That's what I heard.
Wow.
I thought somebody told me that Doom Rooster posted that on the forums.
I don't know.
I didn't see it myself.
I can actually see where they're coming from with this. I don't agree with it, but I can see where they're coming from. The blanket reduction in build times, which did occur, it's not major. It's nowhere close to what it should be.
No. Actually, the blanket
reduction
reduction in weight, there's not in repairs, but not in build times.
There hasn't been even a
been
blanket reduction in weight yet, right?
No.
There has been a reduction in weight. I thought it was also repair times and build times. I thought the build times got reduced by a little bit.
The
We're
armors
still building ships, right?
The armors haven't been reduced. The weapons have been reduced in weight a bit.
The repair times of the individual components in the weight, that's been reduced. The ships themselves have not.
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the everything individually. I'm talking about overall there has been a reduction in build time. It's not what it should be. Don't get me wrong. But there has been a minor reduction. I can see their justification. I don't agree with it, but I see the development and the revenue mentality of not offering tokens anymore in that regard. Keep the tokens in the elite tier. I don't agree with it. Like I said, everybody, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just saying I can see it from the development standpoint.
Personally, I just feel that tokens were only ever plugging a dam. For me, they're not really a fix anyway.
A Band-Aid. They were a Band-Aid.
They were a Band-Aid. They were never a real fix. But Doom Rooster came in here and on one of our Thursday night shows touted them as being part of the solution to the build times, and now they're stepping away from them and they're walking it back.
I know, but why so many of these things got to be part of a solution? Why can't they not just give us the solution?
Well, I mentioned that at the beginning. There's an easy way and a complicated way, and Kix refuses to do anything the easy way.
And the
easiest way to reduce.
The real drawback to the path that they're taking, implementing a little bit of a fix here for doing this chore, a little bit of a fix there for doing that chore, the real issue becomes new players. Now, when I started the game, you got your blueprints from salvages and raids and the Forsaken Mission, and it was fairly easy to figure out where you got all your stuff. Now you got different places to get different kinds of tech. You've got limited technology. You've got shards. You've got
R&D.
Multiple different R&D. You've got the repair specialists. You've got all different kinds. I mean, the complexity of the game is just through the roof because of the fact that they keep trying to implement a little piece here, and rather than expanding that piece, they continue. They say, okay, we've got this piece implemented. Now we're going to implement something completely different, some completely different chore or activity that you have to do to get the next piece of the bonus. And pretty soon, for any new player, anybody that hasn't been playing this game for 3 or 4 years, and following along on almost a daily basis, you're lost.
But see, I think a large part of that is the fact that the Battle Parks itself has had so many different developers working on the project. It's like every few months they rotate the team or they bring in new devs, and each time that happens, a new dev comes in with new ideas. Oh, I know. Let's try this. Let's try this.
Vision is lost. You're right.
And if you actually writ down the list of how many devs we've probably had for BP, it's probably the same amount of players we've got left in the game. You know, the number of it. I mean, and that's the problem, is the direction of the game. It seems we just keep getting this new idea here and this new idea there, but there's no one that's saying, look, let's just stop, take a step back, stop investing money and resources in these new ideas, and let's just fix the current content. You know, and that's to me is where their biggest downfall, and always is their biggest downfall.
And that leads into 3 months ago. There was a huge outcry and a conversation that took place, and a path was set or a request was made that some time be given for them to do those things. And of the things that were asked, simplifying the game wasn't specifically called out, but cleaning up and fixing and expanding on the existing functionality in a game was in that list. And rather than doing that, they have continued to implement new things, and that was the purpose of my rant a few minutes ago. They've implemented this, and what you clarified very well, Liam, as far as why they've done it. Different developers, different mentalities. The game is so disjointed. There is no clear path of progression to get better. To get better in any one particular area, whether it be build times, repair times, gathering tech, anything. I mean, you get so many different things from so many different places. Anybody that hasn't been following along for years is just going to be utterly lost when they come into the game.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And the game is actually very fun in those early levels. Like I started a new base on when they released it on a new platform, and I experienced the game as a new player. 3 years after being a new player, and it was really, really fun. With the missions and the Forsaken, not the Forsaken missions, the
campaigns.
The campaigns, they were very easy to get resources and get started, and up until like level 35, it was absolutely fantastic. But the second it hit that, it was just like, really, no one's ever going to play past this level. There's no sudden creep, there's no slant, there's just bang, spend money, and it's shite.
You hit the paywall, and that's the bane of every pay-to-win game. You find that paywall, and it's the barrier between those who want to play and those who don't. Now, it's apparent that Kixeye believes that paywall should exist, and whether it should or not is neither here nor there.
Well, I've never seen a paywall quite like it in any other game, and I've played so many different games in the last 20 years of my life, and I've never seen a paywall slap you in the face and smash your teeth in quite as much as BP's one does.
Preaching to the choir, brother. Preaching to the choir.
So yeah, I appreciate that, but I mean, in my experience of other games and other MMOs, there is still a fun factor at end game without having to be forced to spend so much money, and that's what BP is lacking.
Well, I mean, I would disagree in the sense that you can find fun ways without spending money. I do every week. I just recently got the ability to hit 85s. That was my fun. That was my dream. I hit an 85 and by myself, nobody coming in and helping me. And so I've reached that pinnacle. Now I'm improving a little bit on it to make it easier for myself, but still, I've hit that pinnacle. I don't spend a dime on the game.
Mm-hmm. Well,
you wait until you have to hit 45 of those 85s to get one half of the price, and then after you hit about 5,563 of them, it's getting pretty boring after that.
The repetition, I won't deny, is rather annoying. I did that with the 65s. I had to hit, 9 or 10 65s just to hit tier 4 every week. Those got annoying after a while, but
more like 50.
Huh?
Or you're talking about the old tier 4.
No, I'm talking about the current tier 4. You've got to hit like.
You mean elite tier, right?
No, I'm sorry. backstep. This is why I should have notes, because I'm a dumbass. Tier 3. You got to hit about 965s to get Tier 3. Or was it 955s or something like that? Somewhere around there. Anyways.
I think it's like 865s.
Okay. But the repetition is there, but you can still find fun in other areas. Like I said, I'm refitting maulers with chaos mortars because I missed the black rain. And now I get to see the black rain again. It may not be useful in somebody else's base, but I get to take those into a drac base and just watch it decimate an entire section. I get to go out and get better and better at the 85s slowly over time. The fun can be there.
So you're saying that the fun factor is to build a fleet that's completely useless in the game?
Well, really?
It's not useless.
That's not fun.
No.
That's fun's in the eye of the beholder, honestly.
Exactly.
I find it fun to go hit bases. He's finding it fun to go hit other random targets. Personally, I find it fun to hit a base. The problem is I can't do that because I don't have the fleet to really do that at the moment. And the second I get that fleet up to par, someone else is going to have some kick-ass defense, and I'm like, well, I'm back to square one again. So personally, I'm not having fun in the game, but to each their own.
The thing is, BP went from player versus player, which was a whole heap of fun at the start, to player versus environment now. You just hit drag bases, you do your 85s, and there's your raids and whatnot. There's no real player versus player in there anymore, unless you spend a whole heap of coin.
The player versus player is there. It's just the price tag attached to it is much harder than it used to be.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
But when the game was a player versus player game, the price tag was the player versus player, and the player versus environment was easy. That was the part that everyone just went out and did for nothing. And then we'd go out and war each other, and then we'd spend money. Whereas now you've got to spend an absolute bomb of money just to keep up with the player versus environment, before you even look at the player versus player. And that's where the game's gone. I mean, before people used to do raids for free and weeklies for free, and now it might cost some players thousands of coins to do a raid. The difficulty level was increased dramatically.
Yeah.
Yep. Agreed. So as we start to push in on an hour of our roundtable, I wanted to kind of throw in a plug for the upcoming Thursday show. It'll be the first show of the year, the first Thursday show after the 3 months that was requested, and kind of wanted to see if Price wanted to chime in at all on what we can expect to talk about on Thursday, or if he wants to give us a teaser, anything along those lines.
Well, I think we're definitely it's a report card show, right? So for those that are not familiar with what the report card thing is supposed to be about, if you go on the BB page, look in the document section, or let me see here, what's it called? I know there's a files tab on the BB page, and inside that files tab is a document called the KIXI Executive Report. Read that. And it's also, I believe I also put a link to it inside the event page for Thursday's show, which has been already created for a while now. But anyway, so yeah, go check that out. And I'm just kind of curious, everybody form your own opinions, and but yeah, it's going to be an interesting show. I was really kind of hoping we'd have a lot of KIXI on. I don't think we're going to have any on. I know I talked to Doom Rooster recently, and he's taken a lot of extra responsibilities. So I'm not sure when he will be on the show again, but probably not going to be Thursday.
Does that mean he's going to be stopping becoming a CM anymore then? Well, he's got one now anyway, but
he's now head of KIXI Math.
Yeah, I would love to have a full-time CM for Battle Pirates. I'd love to see that. I think that's one of KIXI's shortfalls, but I don't think that part's actually going to be in the report card. Maybe it should have been. It'd be nice to have a full-time CM. Seems like the other games get full-time CMs, but it seems like all the ones we get are always part-time. I don't know why that is, but anyway. So yeah, Thursday.
Sweet. Anybody got anything else to say? I've got a question for you if you want to all answer it. What would you like to see happen in 2016 with the game? I'll start with X.
Which one?
Extreme. Beyond
Okay.
Extreme.
Take a break, whether it be 2 or 3 months from releasing new content, and just give us a chance to catch up and fix what's already in the game, please.
Okay.
My UAVs are still swarming targets, not killing them, and I'm still clicking another target and stopping just short and getting hammered on.
Okay. Vlad?
Well, I have two things. The first is I think everybody should be required to wear suspenders.
Really?
And number two, fix the times, the repair times, the build times. The game used to be fun when it was not 5 minutes and then 24 hours of repair. Fix the times. You can do it. It's simple. You can go in there, your data tables, and fix it. You don't need the big complicated solutions. And the truth of the matter is it's not a zero-sum equation. If you reduce the time and reduce the cost, people will play more, and your revenue won't go down. Or at least it won't go down as much as it would if it was a zero-sum equation. It's not. Look at the VXP weekend. You gave people value. You reduced the cost of ranking ships. And now you have people out there who are actually coining ships and then spending the repairs to rank them up. If you add value, people will spend. You can increase your revenue and decrease the cost for each individual item at the same time. You'll have happier players, you'll have more money, you'll have a more vibrant game.
Okay. Toxic?
Well, Vlad just took the words out of my mouth, but what else can I say? But put relevant blueprints back into cargoes and whatever you don't think should go in cargoes, maybe in the armadas, and spawn some different varieties of armadas, not just one lot. Yeah, that's about all I can think of right now.
Harry?
I
Well,
would
two
like
of the
to
things.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go right ahead.
No, go ahead. I just got back in. Sorry.
Harry, go on.
Okay. Two people have mentioned things that were actually brought up and are going to be talked about on Thursday's show. Extreme, you talked about slowing down the release of content, letting people catch up. That was already requested 3 months ago. That has not happened. Vlad, you talked about fixing repair and build times. While we have seen a disjointed implementation of solutions that might add up to some reduced build and repair times, we have not seen that solution implemented either. So asking or thinking about what I would like to see in 2016 for the game that would keep me interested in playing. Number one, kill the hackers. Find a way to make the game more secure. Number two, fix the things that we've already asked for 3 months ago. And that's it.
Okay. Price?
February work in progress. And I said February and not March. February work in progress. Yeah, you need to do like triple what you did for the repair times. You need to do that like 2 more times in February. And also you need to go ahead and get those build times fixed in February. Okay, put that in your February work in progress. Become a little bit more involved, accept varying opinions from the community, and not talk people down or talk down to community members because you don't like their opinion. That kind of thing. That kind of stuff needs to stop. Quit being used car salesmen. Okay. Quit just doing as little as you can. You know what I mean? And actually get serious. The community's leaving in droves. And it's not just battle pirates are leaving; they're leaving Kixeye. And I think if you're at this point, you're not just trying to save a game. I think you're trying to save a company. And I think you ought to be a little bit more serious about it. Quit letting the accountants control your game. Get some gamers back on your staff and let them take a hold of the game. That's what I got.
Okay, Liam.
What?
Sorry.
A game made for gamers by gamers. That was the Kixeye motto. That was the Kixeye statement, and that was the statement that got me playing. I started playing this game in 2011. We're here 2016, and the game's shite. You lost that dream and that vision in 2013, and you've been clawing it back ever since, and you're nowhere even near. The direction of the game is shit, And in my opinion, you need to rediscover that dream and that passion. Whoever came up with that motto, whoever worked on the game back then, bring them back in and get this game sorted, because the game is just, it's going nowhere. It's going nowhere, and it's been going nowhere for a long time. Sorry if that sounds overly negative, but game made for gamers by gamers. That's what this game should be, and that's what this game isn't. And that's me.
Okay.
White Star, before you go on, I wanted to throw in two things that I've picked up in chat. Both Mike Buchanan and Sarah S. have thrown out the old dry dock
Oh, God.
comment in there. I thought that just deserved a mention. I just thought that deserved a huge mention.
Yeah, we're never going to get that. That's never going to
I know, but still, that's what the community wants, and I wanted to throw that in. Go ahead. Thanks.
Okay, John, your turn.
I think they need to reduce content drastically. Simple as that. But also, a raid used to be quarterly, every 3 months. Do that again. Give people a chance to build, play with toys, refit if need be. And the weeklies, for God's sake, reduce that. Reduce it. I mean, I can hit the 50 million twice, but it's just a ridiculous amount of time. Too many chores. Chores. It's meant to be fun. That's it.
Can I just say, though, I don't mean to nitpick, but the raids have always been monthly from day one.
Yeah.
They had one month break in the middle of 2012, but they've been every month since 2011.
That's my mistake. I thought they were quarterly. I thought they were every 3 months when I first started, but I could be wrong.
No, no, honestly, they have. Everyone always says that, but they've always been every month, always.
Every other month would be nice.
Yeah. Well,
the problem was, back in the day, it was one hole and a level 1 to 3 of a blueprint. It wasn't, that was a raid. It wasn't all of the content.
They should make it where it's sort of like ships 1 month, weapons another month, specials, and then some for bases the month afterwards.
That's what it used to go attacking hole, based events hole, fleet versus fleet hole, turret. It was. Yeah. It was rotated like, it wasn't like this month you're going to get a hull and then a limited hull and then a turret and then limited prints. You know what I mean? What we get in one raid now, we used to get in 6 raids back in the day.
Yeah. Okay then, Emmett.
Find the balance. That's what they need to do. If that means they've got to go out and hire a consulting firm to sit down with their developers and their bookkeepers and everything else to draw up a battle plan that gets implemented over an extended time frame, and not one of these developers coming in with the hairy carry idea and then switching him out 3 months or whatever. Find the damn balance. Hire somebody who's going to lead you down a path, pick the direction, and go.
Okay, and finally, X.
Let me jump in with something from chat. Chores. They said they wanted to get rid of chores, and the ones that they ended up getting rid of were the ones that the players liked and benefited the players the most.
What are the odds?
Okay, is that it, Vlad? You're not going to name the chores that they got rid of?
We haven't seen a BXP repair specialist in a while.
Yep.
Well, I was thinking more along the lines of the campaigns like Let It Burn, but chat didn't mention one specifically.
Let It Burn, the rogue campaigns, or even just implementing new campaigns in between the levels that they got now. It was a great idea. They just seem to have thrown it to the wayside and replaced it with these 2-week events.
Okay then, Bobby, X1.
Well, you guys already touched on a lot of the areas that was important to the game. Robert, that was great with the. I like the idea. One, get rid of the hackers in the game. Make this game more secure. If I'm gonna spend the coin, then I want an even playing ground and not having the guys that are hacking being allowed in the game just because they're spending.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I think we'll call that a night there, everybody. I'd like to say thank you for the panel for coming out and talking to everybody. I also like to thank everybody in the chat as well for taking the time and coming to view us. You also can come and subscribe to us up there at bp.battlevortex.tv. Come and help us out there if you can as well. So go subscribe. And once again, thank you and good night all.
And lastly, thanks.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everyone.